Okay, so today I'll be showing you guys how to do the ideal gas law lab. First of all, you're going to want to get all of your different materials. First, you have your DH2O, you have your pipetter and your pipette for the 6 molar HCl. You have a side beaker to put the HCl into it so you can actually pipette it. You have a eudiometer, 50 milliliter size. You have a 1-hole stopper. You have the magnesium, and you have the copper wire, steel wool, and then over here you have a 2-liter graduated cylinder filled to the top. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is clean off your magnesium with the steel wool by gently scraping it across to get any excess other materials, other elements, other molecules that might be on the magnesium. So as you keep on going, it should actually get shinier and cleaner. Like so. Okay, so when you're measuring the mass of your magnesium, you're going to want to use proper balance techniques, with the balance being at 0. And then you can either go in through the top, or you can use one of the side doors, which for something this small, I think actually works quite well. So then if you look around here, once it stops actually switching around, there is the mass of your magnesium being used. And then once you get there, you're actually going to want to fold the magnesium over a couple times because you need it to actually fit on your one-hole stopper, like that. And then you're going to need to take your copper wire, fit it into the 1-hole stopper, and make a cage around the magnesium so that when it reacts with the HCl, it does not fly away inside of the eudiometer. So I'll be back once this cage is actually complete so I can show you what it looks like. Okay, so this is what your copper cage should look like once it's completely wrapped around and covering pretty much all of your magnesium. Okay, so next you're going to want to actually transfer your 6 molar HCl into a beaker that you can then pipette on into your eudiometer. So 6 molar is a lot more dangerous than probably what most of you have handled. So you're going to want to be very careful with how you actually pour it in, and you want to make sure you only get a very small amount actually in here, because what you're doing is you're putting an excess amount into here. So once you have that all set up, close it off, and then you're going to want to pipette it into your plastic pipetter carefully, and then put it on the side so it doesn't create any type of bubbling at the bottom by just squirting it in, like the opposite of that. So that's annoying. As you keep on going, you should use pretty much all of what's in your beaker as you keep putting it into the eudiometer. What you could do is take this, turn it sideways, so you can actually get it into the pipetter for when you put it into the beaker. Once you have all of it in there, you're good. Okay, so once you have your HCl into the eudiometer, you're going to want to fill with your DH2O. Now the HCl will stay at the bottom of the eudiometer because it is more dense than the H2O. The DH2O rather. You want to be sure you're using deionized H2O so it doesn't actually interact with the magnesium when you put it in here. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to keep filming until you're within a ½ an inch of the top. Because when you put it in, you want to make sure that no gas comes out of the top. So you should keep on going to about that point. Probably actually a little more than that. Because you want H2O coming out when you put the stopper in there. So now that you have this all set up, you want to put the stopper in there, force it out, keep your finger on here, then flip it over and put it into the water to make sure that no HCl gets on your hands. But you want to cover the stopper because, again, it is a one-hole stopper. But as you can see from up here, the HCl should be moving down to here to be reacting with the magnesium as you keep on going. So you should see a reaction begin once the HCl gets down to the magnesium. Now, if your cage is a little more shoddy, parts of the magnesium would begin to float up near the top and not actually fully react. But as you can see, bubbles are beginning to form on the magnesium and are pushing up away, which shows you that your chemical reaction is actually occurring between the HCl and the magnesium. So, as the bubbles keep forming, the magnesium should completely dissolve in the HCl, with bubbles continuing to push their way onto the top. As the reaction keeps on proceeding forward, the bubbles will become more and more frequent, and eventually all you should have left at the bottom is copper wire. And if you look up here, the level of solution is actually going down, and the reason for that is the 7 to 10 millimeters of HCl that you put in here is reacting with magnesium to make it into a gas. So what you have in here shouldn't actually change in terms of full volume. So when you know this has gotten down to a point near to what you have, you'll be getting close to what you put in there, I should say. You'll be getting close to actually being complete with your reaction. And once you have that, you'll be ready to collect your data based on how many, just how much magnesium got dissolved. Because the HCl was excess, you don't need to worry about any magnesium actually being left once you get it all set up. So the amount of HCl you actually put in there will completely dissolve all of the magnesium that you have. And so we'll cut to when the reaction is actually... Okay, so as you can see, it's not forming any more gas, which tells you that the reaction has come all the way to completion. So what you're going to want to do to actually read the eudiometer is bring it up to where the two meniscuses are on the same level, and then that tells you how many milliliters of gas that you made. Ours is actually right on the 48 millimeter mark. So what would you write? So you would write down 48.00 milliliters made, because you want to make sure this goes to the 10th of a milliliter, as you can see. So, but because it is directly on the line, you're going to go out to 48.00 milliliters of gas made. So once you've actually read the volume, which we did already, 48.00 milliliters of gas made, this is actually fairly simple cleanup. All you do is take the stopper out and just let the contents drop. And as you can see, all of the magnesium is gone from inside of your copper cage.